There's a reason that Tom and I met, and, you know, we're pretty much the same guy in two different bodies. I feel like we're brothers, and same thing with Travis. When Travis came along, it was the perfect time, and he added something to the band that we never had here before, and he added a dynamic of friendship that I know for a fact that our band would never have gotten to where it is without the three of us finding each other.
Blink-182 to us has always just been three really close friends having a lot of fun.
Being in Blink-182 has obviously taught me a lot of stuff, you know, about being in a band and just having a good time. It's obviously opened up doors for me to play live shows and just get a chance to play drums and have everyone see my band.
Tom and I have been through everything together. We used to sleep in the van together. We used to sleep on people's floor together. We've been there for each other since day one, and we've gone through everything.
He's full of energy. He's like a little kid. He's just super funny and always has a good time.
He's my best friend, and I'm sure he'll always be my best friend. You know, he's the first person that I think when I find out when something happens, he's the first person that I want to call and tell him about it.
I just have a good time with him. We write well together and walk well together and talk well together. And he's a great friend and a great person to be in a band with.
We would just laugh so hard. We'd make up the stupidest things, and when I'm old, I'll look back to those times and just remember how hard we all laughed.
Mark's and my relationship has grown a lot. He was a nut, and the very first thing he did was climbed a light pole and jumped off it and hurt his ankles and was on crutches for 3 weeks. And I was like, what is this guy doing? It was really, really weird. We were so alike. We just became best friends and have been that way ever since.
From the day I met him, I remember he was a super nice guy. Really good friend, though, willing to do anything for anybody, and just a good-looking dude.
We just get closer and closer, and we have this really cool communication between us that we can tell each other anything, and we can confide in each other, but then we also feel like we can make fun of everybody and everyone's different from us, not like we're different from them, and it's pretty cool. It's one of those guys, like every day you have to talk to somebody, and like every day I have to talk to Mark. If I don't, it's just not the same day. Travis is just one of my closest friends. Mark and I are both so super stoked and grateful that he's in a band with us.
We were on tour with a band that Travis used to play in, and we needed a drummer because our old drummer Scott had to leave for the day. That night he played the set with us, and after the show, Tom and I sat down together and said, "This is our drummer. This is the real drummer for Blink-182." And there was never any second thought or any second choice at all. Travis was our friend.
For the longest time, and we did. He's such a great guy, and he's got such a rad personality, and he's so into friendship and so into like being there for his friends and stuff, and it's just been amazing. It made our band so tight to have another guy that we can really share a friendship that was really cool and really strong.
He's always trying to make himself a better musician, a better songwriter, better performer. He practices more than anybody that I've ever met.
Like you come up with music, and you're like, how many different ways can you make a punk rock song? But there's like 101 ways with Travis. I
mean, aside from being just a really cool guy and one of my best friends, he's probably the best musician that I've ever met. Tom and Travis are my brothers, and I'd do anything for those guys. When all this is said and done, we'll all be together looking back and going, fuck, we made it. You know, this is amazing. How did we do it? I think back even now, even when I walk out on stage and I look out and I see all the people, I get so blown away, and I just think, wow, we made it.
And so many other bands just fight and they don't get along and they hate each other, but when things come down the road that are hard and gnarly, it's just us three. I feel like it doesn't matter, like we don't care, we can do anything. I think about times when we were traveling in the van and we'd make up stupid songs or we'd make up jokes, and we were so poor back then we couldn't even barely afford gas to get to the next venue, but we were having so much fun just playing music and being in a band and watching our dreams come true.
I think Mark and Tom will be my friends forever. Fucking friends forever and ever and ever.
We've been through this crazy trip, and we've seen the world, and we've gotten to do all the things that we ever dreamed about, and we've gotten to do it on our own terms. And I think it's been an amazing trip here, but I think we're going to be one of those bands
that's around forever and always makes records, even if nobody's buying them and using them for toilet paper, but we'll still make them because we'll be the best fucking toilet paper anybody's ever used.
We Don't Need to Whisper was like a rebirth of myself. I was coming out of a situation where we sold, 20, 25 million records, and everything just starts breaking down. The way Blink worked, the magic of it was that there's 3 totally different people in it. And the way we all came together, we created something really beautiful and great and exciting. Towards the tail end there, we weren't 16 years old anymore, and we're approaching 30, and we all had families, we all had different needs and priorities. For me, myself in particular, I needed, at that time, I was gone from my family for 2 years straight. So I needed to be home with my daughter. She was approaching 2 years old, and I haven't been home for any of the pregnancy, and then any of her first year and a half. We were touring, so I needed to go home, but the band was doing so well, no one really wanted to go home. And we all kind of just couldn't communicate very much anymore.
Hey, that's some funny shit we used to do 10 years ago.
I guess it's, you just have a lot of people in your mix telling you different things, and it just becomes strange. And ever since we did Boxcar Racer, things weren't the same between me and Mark anyways. That was just one of those weird things where I had to go and try and grow as a musician, and I think he thought it was like a thing against him, but it wasn't. It was an experiment that lasted 2 months, and ended up being a rift in the band, because that's how bands are. Bands are like these families, and they're extremely married, and everyone's extremely insecure and attached to one another. So I think if someone does something that's not completely communicated, it can have bad effects. When they when they looked at me and told me that me putting my family first, if I was to make that my priority, then I would have to be cool with the repercussions of that. When they told me that, that's when I knew that no longer could I work in that situation at all. There's no way. Because you can't tell me that no one could ever give me an ultimatum over my family. That's like the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my life. But, and so, it was the wrong place for them to be when I was thinking the way I was thinking, because look what happened. Here I am doing something different now. Well, when it went down and it was done, it was like the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. It was like 3 divorces happening within the 1 week. I mean, it was fucking gnarly, craziest, like just the craziest of emotions and things said, and like just anger and fear and all these crazy things came out. But I knew at that moment too, I had these songs I've been working on for years and years that were going to be the next Blink record. I told those guys, I was like, fuck. Even before I quit, I was like, this record's going to be so good. It's going to be so good. We're on our way to something spectacular, like I feel, like even beyond where we are now, and we just last tour, we left like sold out arenas across the entire world, and we were at the peak of our career, and our next record was going to be beyond anything we ever did. And then all this shit happened, so I'm sitting here with like the best material I've ever done, and I said, fuck, well, it's time to give them, it's time to give them a chance. I was excited for the challenge. I think I do well with challenges, because it just makes you become better at whatever it is you're doing. So that's what I hope. I hope that I hope it comes out good. I think it's coming. I think it's gonna be good, but I don't know. I don't know what you're asking of me. I'm just gonna try and do good songs.
Tom and Travis are my brothers, and I'd do anything for those guys. When all this is said and done, we'll all be together looking back and going, fuck, we made it. This is amazing. How did we do it?